Hey, this is Captain Paul Brawley with Fish Finder Guide Service. We're going to be starting out on the east shoreline of Corpus Christi Bay. We're going to be looking at all these multiple sandbars that run through this area from Fish Pass kind of back to, I would say, Wilson's Cut area. All of these sandbars early should have reds and trout, but right now we're having a higher tide in the morning and a lower tide in the afternoon. So as the day progresses, you're going to want to start moving out to the edge of these sandbars further out. The guts in between the sandbars are probably 2 to 3 feet. This outside edge where these arrows are, you're looking at probably 4 or 5 foot right in there. And of course, as you go out into Corpus Bay, you're going to get into much deeper water. But you're going to be targeting trout with croakers, and you're going to be targeting redfish with cut bait. We're still using the cut shad, the cut sardines, cut skipjack. If you can cast net some finger mullets and some of these little ponds in the back here, there's a few little ponds. Maybe cast net some finger mullet. You could use those also to catch the redfish on. Okay, moving along a little bit north to the Shamrock area and all the oil-filled channels that are around Shamrock. All of these channels that are in here, there's several of them in this area. When the tide gets pretty low, those channels edges will have your redfish and some of your speckled trout in them. Look for the fish to come off the flats and get into that little bit of deeper water as it warms up during the day. I would be fishing the very edge of those with cut bait. There's like a little reed line that runs down most of those channels. I'd be fishing the edges of those with cut bait for your reds, or a little bit off the edge, maybe 5-10 foot off the edge with croakers, or if you can get them, piggy perch for your speckled trout. That area seems to be holding fish as it heats up. Earlier in the morning, you might try this big flat back in here. That flat will hold some reds and some trout. It's all about 2 and 3 foot of water through there. You'll be able to catch some fish. Same methods, throwing lures. You could throw croakers. You could throw cut bait. There should be quite a bit of reds and trout early with the higher tide, but I'm telling you, the tide's rocketing out. So by like 11 o'clock, you're going to want to target all these little channels in here, all the channels in the oil-filled complex of Shamrock Cove. Next, we're going to be looking at Mustangs Elbow, which is this little curve right here. Right in this area here, there's a trough of deep water. That water's probably 4 or 5 foot. That should hold fish all day. I would say the edges of it in the morning would be pretty good for redfish and trout, and then in the actual cut as the tide drops, be very careful getting in and out of there. There's only one little pass right here to get in, so be real careful getting in and out of that area. Also, this whole shoreline from Fish Pass all the way back to the intercoastal has multiple sandbars. You can try all those sandbars for trout and redfish. I like using cut, finger mullet, sardines, whatever, any kind of cut bait through there for redfish. And then you want to throw croakers, or if you can get them, piggy perch for your trout right through that area. It seems to be pretty productive in the afternoons for bigger trout, tighter to the shores earlier for redfish. Next, we're going to be looking at the boat hole and boat hole proper. This area right in here in particular has a little bit deeper water. Right in here, you're going to be looking through there for your trout. There's not many reds in there, but there's a lot of trout in there on croakers. You could try some piggy perch. They're just hard to get right now, but it doesn't really matter if the tides are up or down. The more it's down, you're going to fish towards the back of the hole, and the more it's up, you're going to fish towards the back of the hole. The more it falls, you're going to head towards Old Humble Channel out here and fish all through that area right there. Seems to be holding trout, I would say, all day. It's not a fast bite, but there are fish there and good keeper fish. Right out here in your boat hole complex, the actual boat hole, all this shoreline right in here will have speckled trout all the way down to the back side of those little sandbars. all of that area will hold trout on croakers pretty much all day. Just watch your depths. The water's pretty deep there, 8, 9 foot. You can get up towards the shorelines early and then back off as the heat comes on and the tides fall out. That area right there should produce quite a bit of trout. I haven't really seen many reds in anywhere in that entire area of both the sections I talked about. But that area is holding a lot of decent trout right now. We're going to be moving along on the south side of Pita Island. We're going to be looking at this west drop right here, kind of all the way around. This area right now is holding some very nice speckled trout. You're going to be using croakers. The bite's not super fast right there. It'll probably take 3 guys a couple of hours to get 9 trout through there. There is a lot of small ones you're going to have to go through, but there's some very nice 17 to 23 inch trout through that area. I'm using croakers in there. If you come over to the east drop and kind of follow around, there's a lot of really small trout through here until you get into this area right in here. You'll be looking at a little bit better trout, but that west drop over here definitely is the money right now. Free lining croakers all through that area. I'm not really using any piggy perch south of Pita Island right now.